Welcome to our session. Today, we are discussing the next chapter, namely Animal Kingdom. We have seen that of the 1.7 to 1.8 million organisms in this world, 2/3 are animals. 1.3 to 1.4 million animals are present. Why so much of animals? Mainly because of the diversity among insects, which is the largest group, which is coming under a phylum Arthropoda. Okay, so we are having a large number of animals, and as I have stated earlier, to make our study easy, we are grouping them. Now, based upon what characteristics, what features, criteria we are all classifying, we take some important features as the criteria for classification, and these 6 criteria are: number 1, the level of organization. What do you mean by the level of organization? Level of organization means to what level they have organized. These organisms are organized. We know that all animals are multicellular. Unicellular animals are separated as protistants. So, Animalia include multicellular organisms. But how these cells are organized? These cells are organized sometimes to different levels or may not be organized. Sometimes you may be having only cell. These cells are not organized to any higher levels. Thus, that body will be a loose cluster of cells. The body is not at all organized to any higher level. It is just a loose cluster of cells. They have not evolved to higher levels. They became deviated from the main line of evolution. So, for easy understanding, I will tell you that they have deviated from the main line of evolution at a very early stage and remained without developing into higher complexities. This group is thus forming a subdivision called parazoa. Para means side. They are all sidelined. They have deviated from the main line of evolution and are remaining without organized to any higher complexities. And we are having parazoa. These parazoans are containing only one phylum, namely phylum Porifera. Only one phylum. So, what is the characteristic feature of these poriferans? They are all multicellular organisms where the cells are not organized. So, the body just consists of a loose cluster of an aggregate of cells. These cells are not organized. Whereas in all others, they have gone through the line of or path of evolution and organized to higher levels. What higher level they have organized to? Understand that they will be sometimes organized to form what are called tissues. They may be having tissues in them. What is a tissue? Tissue is a organized group of cells performing a specific function. So they are formed by the organization. It is at a higher level than that of the cellular level. So those which are having tissues in them are said to have tissue grade of organization. These parasolvents are having only cellular grade of organization. They are having cellular grade, but here they are having tissue grade. Tissues are present in them. And we are having two phyla which are all having this type of organization. They are one, cnidarians, and two, ctenophora. Cnidarians and ctenophora. They are all having tissue grade. Okay. Sometimes you may be having a number of different types of tissues which are again organized to higher levels. If they are all organized to higher levels, they will be forming what is called an organ. So they may be forming what is called an organ. Those which are having organs in their body are said to have organ grade of organization, and this organ grade of organization is seen in platyhelminths. And in still others, have the organs. There are a number of organs which are all again organized to perform a common function. That organization of organs is called an organ system. So you are having organ systems. Those which are having organ system are called to have organ system grade of organization. All the higher phyla are belonging to that grade of organization. So let us see what are they. We have Askelmins, Annelids, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Ectinodermata, Chordata, and Chordata. So these are the major phyla which are all coming under kingdom Animalia. So animal kingdom or Animalia is divided into phyla which are all based upon number one feature, namely the grade of organization. So grade of organization is number one feature. Okay. So in them, the cells are organized to higher complexities like tissues, organ and organ systems. So they are all true metasolvents or eumetasolvents. Understand the difference between parasova and eumetasova? In parasova, the cells are not organized, whereas in all others, it is organized. They have gone through the line of evolution and has evolved into tissues, organs and organ systems in their body and are belonging to different levels of complexity. Number one function is level of organization. Clear? Among those organisms which are having organ system grade of organization, there are so many differences. So, one, it is in the alimentary system. Those which are having an alimentary canal may be coming under two categories. So, for example, open, that is, which is having two openings. A complete digestive system is having two openings, one mouth and one anus. We are all having. Advanced animals are having. Whereas in some primitive organisms, there is only one opening through which food is taken in and undigestible materials are sent out. So, single opening for the alimentary canal is said to have, or they are all called incomplete alimentary canal. So, we are having complete and incomplete alimentary canal. Similarly, those having blood vascular system, blood is circulated throughout the body. Circular system may be either having blood vessels through which only blood is flowing. That is said to have closed type of blood vascular system. That is seen in advanced animals. Blood is flowing through closed tubes. That way it is called closed. Whereas in lower organisms, there are no blood vessels. Blood is simply pumped into the cavities of the body. So all cavities are filled with blood. All organs are remaining bathed in blood. Okay. Organs are remaining bathed in blood. That is what is called open type. So in open type, blood is pumped out of the heart and cells and tissues are all bathed in it. Closed type, in which blood is circulated through a series of blood vessels of each will be different from each other in their diameter. Okay, you are having arteries, veins, capillaries, etc. That is what is called closed type. So, number one feature is organizational complexity. Number two, that is symmetry. What is symmetry? It is the design by which body parts are arranged. See, we are having a design. You look into our own body, you are having two eyes, two ears, which are equally placed on either side of your central point or central axis. So, there is symmetry. In some primitive organisms, like for example sponges, there is no symmetry at all. There is no symmetry at all. You will be having no symmetry. So they will be called asymmetrical. They are called asymmetrical. So based upon the symmetry, we can classify them. It is asymmetry. Others are having symmetry. What type of symmetry? Mainly, there are two types of symmetries. Radial symmetry. That is, they are having a radiating pattern of arrangement for different parts of the body. For example, you are having a cylindrical body. This is the longitudinal axis passing through the body, and around that, along the different radii, the different body parts are arranged. This type of arrangement of different body parts will give you two equal halves. If you cut it along the longitudinal axis in any plane, you cut it in any plane, you will be getting two equal and identical halves. That type of symmetry is called radial symmetry, and those which are having radial symmetry are called radiata. Animals that are having radial symmetry are called radiata. and ctenophorans and nidarians, that is, those which are having tissue grade of organization, are all coming under radiata. Whereas in others, you have what is called bilateral symmetry. What is this bilateral symmetry? The different body parts are arranged on the two lateral sides. See, my eyes, my ear, they are placed on either side of my main axis. So, only a particular cut in a plane. What is that plane? Plane passing through the mid-ventral and mid-dorsal. So, you have to cut me like this. Then only you will be getting my right side and left side, which is somewhat similar to each other. Okay. This type of symmetry is called bilateral, on the two lateral sides with respect to the main axis. That is the meaning of bilateral symmetry. And those which are having bilateral symmetry are called bilateria. Bilateral symmetry having animals are called bilateria. Color is not coming correctly. Bilateria. All organisms above the tissue grade, that is organ and organ system grade, are belonging to this group called bilateria. So that is the second feature, symmetry. So asymmetrical, radially symmetrical, or bilaterally symmetrical. Then next character is from where these tissues, organs, etc. are developing. During a particular stage in the developmental history of every organism, the cells are becoming arranged into sometimes 2 layers or 3 layers. It is in a stage called gastrula. That stage is called gastrula. So, during this gastrula stage, they become appeared and arranged in the form of 2 or 3 layers. They are called germ layers. Why they are called germ layers? Because they germinate, give rise to all other tissues, organs, etc. So, how many germ layers are developing? Based upon that, we classify them into 2 germ layer having or 3 germ layer having animals. They are called diploblastic and triploblastic respectively. Those which are having tissue grade are all having diploblastic having only 2 germ layers. What are the 2 germ layers? They are all the outer ectoderm. The outer layer is the ectoderm. Ecto means outer and inner one is endo. Derma means cell layer. And these 2 cell layers are connected together by a middle layer of jelly. That jelly-like layer is called mesoglia. The term means middle layer that is connecting these 2. Glia means blue, binding, which is connecting and binding the ectoderm and endoderm. So, you are having diploblastic conditions. And in highly developed organisms, we have a third layer developing in between. That third layer which is developing in between, in the middle, is called mesoderm. Meso means in between. So you are having three germ layers in advanced types of organisms. They are called triploblastic. So all those which are all coming under bilateria are having triploblastic. They are all triploblastic. Clear? So how many germ layers? Diploblastic or triploblastic? That is the next. So right from platyhelminths, you will be having triploblastics. And among triploblastic bilateria, there are so many variants. What are these? That mesoderm, middle layer, will be giving rise to a cavity. That cavity is called coelom. Coelom is a cavity which is in between the body wall and the alimentary canal, which is lined by, covered by mesoderm. Such a cavity is called coelom. And based upon the coelom, we can classify the triploblasts again into three categories. What are they? Let us see. For example, the platyhelminths are having no cavity, no coelom. So they are called acoelomate. They have no coelom. That means in them there is no cavity between body wall and alimentary canal. It is filled with a tissue called parenchyma or mesenchyma. In Askelminths, there is a false cavity. That false cavity is called pseudocoelom. So they are called pseudocoelomate. The term ATE or ATA suffix indicate animals which are having this character. So acoelomate means animals that are having no coelom. Pseudocoelomata meaning animals which are having a false coelom. Okay. Only Askelminth is belonging to that pseudocoelomate, and all others are belonging to coelomata. All others are belonging to coelomata. From Annelida to Chordata, they are all coelomates. They are having a coelom. Okay. Now, let us see what will be the condition of that body. See, here you are having no cavity at all. This is a cross section of the animal. Okay. You are having outer ectoderm. See. This is the outer ectoderm. Inner, you will be having endoderm. Remember, endoderm give rise to the alimentary canal. So this forms the lining of the alimentary canal. This is the outer skin. And in between, there is no cavity. The whole cavity space between body wall and alimentary canal is filled with a parenchymatous tissue. That is called acoelomate. Whereas in pseudocoelomate, okay, you are having mesoderm present in the form of pouches, in the form of sacs. That is why it is called Askelminths. Ascos means cavity. We studied ascos again every day when we discuss the fungi. ascomycetes. So mesoderm is present in the form of scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. And animals possessing such a nature is called pseudocoelomate. Only ascomycetes are coming under, and all others are having a true cavity between body wall and alimentary canal. Okay, and this is lined by mesoderm. This layer is lined by mesoderm. Meaning this layer is covered by, lined by, covered by mesoderm. That mesoderm is forming a covering on the outer side and on the inner side. That is why we say that we are having a cavity which is lined by mesoderm. So you are having two layers for the mesoderm. And in between this mesoderm lies the coelom. Is that clear? So, what is the nature of them? That is yet another character feature. Acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, then coelomate. And the next character is segmentation. The body is divided into so many identical repeating units. That type of body make, body construction is called segmented condition or metamerism. What do you mean by that metamerism? Meta means numerous, meros means part. So the body is made up of numerous identical units, parts called simply segment or a metamer. Each unit is called a metamer. The metamer will be identical in nature. You are having metamerism seen in Annelida, Arthropoda and Chordata. So you are having metamerism here, metamerism here, metamerism here. In others, metamerism is lost. You cannot see them. Okay, so whether it is metamerically segmented or not, that is yet another important feature. Clear? And coming to the last point, that is the presence or absence of a structure called notochord. This is the characteristic structure, which is the notochord. What is the notochord? Notochord is a stiff structure that gives rigidity to the body, and this notochord is developing from mesoderm. This notochord is a must for an organism to be included in chordata. That is the meaning of the term chordata. They are having a cord, notochord, which is a stiff rod-like structure present in the axis of our body, in the axis of such animal, which is giving mechanical support. This is developing from mesoderm. This notochord sometimes may be present in the earliest developing stages. Then they may be replaced by a well-developed advanced structure called vertebral column. Sometimes notochord will be the only structure present which is retained throughout the life. There is no vertebral column. Those which are having a vertebral column are called vertebrates. So vertebrates are advanced chordates. So remember, vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates, because there are some chordates which are having no vertebral column. They are having only the notochord. That is why we say that all vertebrates are chordates, because all of them are having a notochord which is replaced by the notochord, replaced by the vertebral column. But in some chordates, there is no vertebral column. So they are not vertebrates. All chordates are not vertebrates. All vertebrates are chordates. Is that point clear? Okay. So only chordates are having notochord. So they are called chordates. So what is the name for others? How can we classify them? See, others are called non-chordates. All of them are called non-chordates. This alone is chordate. All others are non-chordates. So I will tell you what are the criteria. Number one, what is the grade of organization? Number two, what is the type of symmetry? Okay. 3, what is the number of germ layers, whether diploblastic or triploblastic, whether they are having a coelom. Number 4. Number 5, metamerism. Only these 3 are metamerically segmented. You can see them. Others are non-segmented. And finally, 6, presence or absence of notochord. Now you got it? This is the easy way of remembering things. Okay, so after studying this, we will be passing on to the classification of animals. See, each group is having its own characteristic feature, which is given in a very simple form here. See, Animalia, they are all multicellular. They are classified into organs of which cellular level, which is asymmetrical, acoelomates, so are porifera. And those that are having tissues, organs and organ systems developed, that is eumetazova. This is parasova, this is eumetazova. These eumetazovans are either radially symmetrical or bilaterally symmetrical. These radially symmetrical are all acoelomates. You are having 2 phyla, Coelenthrata or Cnidaria and Ctenophora. And bilateral symmetrical are having coelom. Sometimes with a true coelom, they are called coelomates. With a pseudo coelom, false coelom, asculmins, or without a body cavity, platyhelminths. So this is the grade of organization and classification. Now, what are the character feature of each and every phylum? At the end of the chapter, it is given in the form of a chart for easy understanding. See, we are having each of these having special features. Porifera means those which are having pores. The body is having a number of pores through which water can enter into the body. That's why they are called porifera or sponges. Their common name is sponges. They are all aquatic, generally marine or freshwater, very few. They are asymmetrical, most primitive, multicellular, having only cellular grade of organization. That is what we have studied. Now, sponges have water continuously entering in through minute pores in the body. They are called ostia. So, through the ostia, water entering and goes out through osculum. It cannot be called as mouth because water is going out. Okay. The pathway of the water transport is characteristic of sponges, and this characteristic flow of water maintains their life because the water brings food, respiratory gases, and also help in removal of waste materials. The cavity inside the body is called spongocoel. So So through ostia, water entering, and now inside you are having the spongiocele and water goes out continuously. How the water is coming and going? Because there are some flagellated cells called collar cells or choanocytes. These collar cells are continuously beating and causing water to flow. Through that, food is coming, that is taken by these choanocytes, and digestion takes place inside the cell. That is why it's called intracellular, inside the cell. Sponges are very soft bodied, and to support this soft body, there's a skeleton, small microscopic spine-like structures called spicules, or fiber-like structures made up of a protein called spongins or called spongin fibers. Sexes are united because they are all very primitive. Both male and female sex organs are produced in the same individual. In the lower animals, in this condition, eggs and sperms are produced by the same individual and they reproduce sexually as well as asexually. That shows that they are all very simple. A sexual type of reproduction is also occurring. That is by fragmentation. They are having amazing power of regeneration. So sponges reproduce asexually by fragmentation and sexually by the formation of gametes. And fertilization is occurring internal, and during development there is a larva stage. This larva will be free swimming. Adults are sedentary attached, but the larvae are free swimming so that it will prevent overcrowding. The larvae goes to far and wide places. So there is no chance of all the eggs growing into the sponges in the same place. If they are all to grow in the same place, that will be resulting in overcrowding and competition among themselves. So to avoid that, the larvae are all free swimming. Okay. Examples. You are having examples like cycon, Kypha, spongilla, it's a freshwater sponge, and Euspongia, true sponge. Example for Eusponge is Euspongia, which is commonly called bath sponge. Okay. Second one. Now we are passing on to Eumetasova, the simplest one which is having. So what are the features? We can see Cnidarians. They are also called Coelenterata. What is the meaning of that term? Understand the term meaning first. Okay, there will be no confusion. They are also called Coelenterata, meaning enteron, alveolar canal, seal, cavity. Alveolar canal is the form of a cavity. Animals that are having eta, animals which are having a cavity like alveolar canal. Alveolar canal is in the form of a cavity. So what are the features? They are all having tissue grade, belonging to radial symmetry, radiata. They are all diploblasts. So from that you got the character feature of this phylum. So all the character feature of each phylum you will be getting in a simple form. Okay. So they are also called Cnidaria. What is the meaning of Cnidaria? Because they are having a special cell called cnidoblast cell. This cnidoblast, what is the meaning of cnido? Cnido means spine. They are having pointed spine-like structure. You can see it. Okay. This pointed spine-like structure can be used for piercing into and injecting a poison to kill their enemies and food. That's why they are all helping in offense and defense. They are abundantly present on tentacles as well as in the body, and these structures are called cnidoblast. Because of the presence of this characteristic cnidoblast, they are called cnidarians. They exhibit tissue level of organization. They are diploblasts. They will be having a cylindrical shape radiator. Okay, you will be having a mouth through which water enter in and goes out. Water is entering and going out through that mouth. This mouth is located at the tip of a conical structure called hypostome. See, you are having a mouth at the tip of a conical structure called hypostome. The body is in the form of a cylinder with a cavity inside, and around that mouth, surrounding the hypostome, you will be having a large number of hollow finger-like structures called tentacles. These tentacles are all helping in food capturing, locomotion, etc. With the help of these tentacles, which are provided with cnidaria, they will capture the food material and is digested. Digestion is both extracellular, that is taking place outside the cell, just like porphyra, and intracellular. It is having intracellular digestion, as in the case of porphyra. It is extracellular. In our case, it is extracellular. We are having digestion taking place outside the cell. See, it is taking place inside our body, but we are not taking that food material directly into the cell. It is digested into the cavity of the alimentary canal. Then they are all absorbed into the cells. So digestion takes place extracellular in advanced. In porphyra, I told you it is intracellular. Here, there is a small difference. It is both intracellular and extracellular. So that indicates that they are a bit advanced. Some of the cnidarians produce an outer covering made up of calcium carbonate. That stiff covering will be forming corals. Cnidarians will be living in, or they will be having two forms in their life cycle sometimes. One is polyp. This is the polyp, which is hydra-like, sedentary with mouth directed upward. The other one is umbrella shaped, mouth is directed downwards. This is free swimming, whereas this is sedentary. This free swimming umbrella shape is called medusa. Normally, these two may be sometimes coming alternatingly. Okay, polyp may be producing medusa asexually, asexual reproduction, and medusa will produce polyp sexually, sexual reproduction. Thus, these two may sometimes come alternatingly in some cases. Okay, not in all. So, polyp is sessile, cylindrical form like hydra, adamsia, sea anemone. Whereas it is umbrella-like, medulla is umbrella-like and free swimming like Aurelia or jellyfish. They show what is called alternation of generation, as is the case of Obelia colony. Examples are Physalia, which is commonly called Portuguese man of war. Remember, all of them are aquatic and these are all marine, seen in seawater. It is called Portuguese man of war. Adamsia, commonly called sea anemone. Pennacula, it is sea pen. It is almost like a feather. It is a colonial. Gorgonia is a coral forming. The coral will be spreading like a fan. So it's called gorgonium or sea fan. And meandrina resembles the brain of our human beings, and so it's called brain coral. Now, related to that, you are having another one. We have studied that both ctenophora and coelenterates are diploblasts belonging to Bilateria. Now, these ctenophores are having some differences. Ctenophores are generally called sea walnuts or comb jellies. See, the medusa forms are generally called jellyfishes. Why? Because their body is highly gelatinous and they are all moving. That's why it is called fish, moving, having no resemblance to the shape of a fish. It is an umbrella shape. And this is just like globular structures having some special structures on them called comb plates. That's why it is called comb jellies. Their body is diploplastic and in them you are having mesoglia, which is a jelly. That jelly gives its name jellyfish or comb jellies to them. Body bear 8 comb plates. External rows of ciliated plates called comb plates. With the help of the cilia of the comb plates, they are all continuously moving. Here also, digestion is both extracellular and intracellular. And one peculiarity is that they are all very often showing the property of bioluminescence, meaning they will be emitting light, property of emitting light. And here also sexes are separate and they reproduce only sexually. There is no asexual reproduction. Fertilization is occurring in water, that is outside their body, and there is a larva during development. That is what's called indirect. There is a larva. Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana are the two examples. This is pleurobrachia, commonly called the sea walnuts. They are commonly called sea walnuts. Okay. Now, coming to the phylum Platyhelminths. Now, we are all entering into the triploblastic bilateria. And what is the unique feature of Platyhelminths? You can see, Platyhelminths are the only one which are all triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical with organ grade of organization and acoelomate. They are having acoelomate condition. Clear? Only one among triploblasts which is having no coelom. Why they are called platy? Platy means flat, helminthos means worms. So simply called flatworms. They are all mainly remaining as or living as parasites inside the body of a host, including man. Flatworms are having bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, acoelomate with organ level of organization. Since they are all parasites, they may be having hooks and suckers in parasitic forms. All of them are not parasitic. For example, planaria, which is noted for amazing power of regeneration, is belong to the same group, same kingdom, same phylum, Platyhelminths. And others are parasitic, which will be absorbing nutrient from the host directly through their body surface. They need not even have a mouth. Alimentary canal, if present, will be incomplete. Okay, incomplete alimentary canal. But in them, they have flame cell helping in osmoregulation. Special type of structure called flame cells. They are called protonephridia, helping in sending out of excess water out of their body. That's maintaining the water level. That's called osmoregulation and excretion, sending out of nitrogenous waste material. Here, sexes are not separate, meaning sexes are united. Hermaphrodite. Fertilization is internal, development is through complicated life history, especially in case of parasitic forms. Planaria possess amazing power of regeneration. It's a free living, whereas Taenia and Fasciola are parasitic forms. Tapeworm, Taenia, and Fasciola is a liver fluke living in the liver, gallbladder, etc. of sheep and goat. They are all causing diseases. Okay. Now coming to the Askelminths. Body of Askelminths Why it is called ascal means? Ascos means cavity. The body is having a number of pouch structures, pouches. Mesoderm is the form of pouches, and there is false cavity. That is called pseudocoel. So the only phylum which is having pseudocoel condition, pseudocoelomate, is ascal means. They are also called roundworms. Why they are called roundworms? Because in cross section they are all round in appearance. They are round in outline. That's why it is called roundworms. In cross section, suppose you are taking a cross section, they are also parasitic, but they have organ system level of body organization. So from here onwards, they are having organ system, grade of organization. From here onwards, sexes are separate. Male and females are distinct. You have what is called dioecious condition starting. Di means two. There are two types, male type and female type. That's the meaning. And for the first time, the alimentary canal is complete. In practical elements, alimentary canal if present is incomplete. But here, alimentary canal is complete. And pharynx is having muscles on them, muscular pharynx. And excretory tube called rennet cells are the organs of excretion. Fertilization is internal and development may be direct. That is, there is no larva stage, or is indirect, meaning there is a larva stage. Examples are Ascaris, Wuchereria, Ankylostom. Ascaris is causing, all of them are parasites, causing roundworm trouble. Wuchereria is causing the elephantiasis. Filarial worm is causing filariasis. Ankylostoma is called hookworm, causing hookworm trouble or ankylostomiasis. Coming to Annelida, the term Annelida means annulus. What is the meaning of annulus? Rings. The body is having a number of ring-like structures called segmentation. So segmentation appears for the first time. You have a large number of segments. Body is divided into repeating units called segments. So segmentation begins from this one. And they are having one more peculiarity. What is that? Here, also you are having organ system grade of organization, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, metasegmented coelomates. First, for the first time, true coelom is originating from this onwards. They are all true coelomates. So body surface is distinctly marked into segments or metameres, and hence the name Annelida. Annulus means rings. Another feature is that muscles are well developed, and there are two types of muscles, longitudinal muscles and circular muscles. Okay. In aquatic animals like Nereis, a lateral appendage for swimming also start developing parapodia. That's the meaning of parapodia. Para means side, poda means appendage. So appendage is on the sides, on the lateral sides of the body, helping in swimming. They have closed type of circulatory system, and the excretory organs are nephridia. They have developed nervous system that consists of a paired ganglia that is acting as the brain, connected by lateral nerve to a double ventral nerve cord, meaning they are having a ring-like part around the alimentary canal on the anterior side, to which you are having a double ventral ganglionated nerve cord is present on the ventral side. So this is the nervous system in annelids. Examples are Nereis, which is a marine organism which is having parapodia. In here, in this Here is sexes are separate and there is a larva stage. Whereas in leech, Hirudinaria, which is an ectoparasite, it is blood-sucking leech. And in earthworm, there are no males and females. Sexes are united. So here sexes are separate, here sexes are united. Okay. And in Hirudinaria and earthworm, there is no larva stage. Development is direct. So that's about the Annelida. Now we pass on to the largest phylum. What is the largest phylum? Largest phylum is Arthropoda. That will be containing almost 2/3 of the animals. It contains almost 2/3 of all animal species which are all discovered and studied. So, the largest phylum is Arthropoda. What is the meaning of that term Arthropoda? Arthros means joints. Look, arthrology is the study of joints. And poda means appendages. So, from here onwards, they are having appendages made up of so many pieces. Appendages are made up of so many pieces. That is why it is called Arthropoda. They are the most successful group of organisms with organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetrical, triploblastic, and coelomate. Why they are all very successful? Mainly because their body is covered by an exoskeleton made up of chitin, a chemical called chitin. What is chitin? N-acetyl glucosamine. Okay, it's a polymer called chitin. And body is divided into head, thorax, and an abdomen. The most important feature is that they have jointed appendages, arthropoda. Since they are the largest, organisms show large variety of diversity. All organisms belong to this phylum are not showing the same feature. Of course, they are having some common features, but at the same time, they are differing very much. I told you, they are all having segmented body, open type of blood vascular system, jointed appendage. Okay, so they are all present in everyone. Respiratory organs are different. In aquatic organisms, we are having gills, book lungs, etc. In others, the sensory organs like antenna, eyes, compound or simple. Eyes may be simple, that is made up of a simple eye. Compound eyes are made up of large number of single eyes. And each unit is called a ommatidium. Okay. Excretory organs are also different. You may have Malpighian tubules. You may have some other structures also like green glands or antennary glands. So, they show diversity in respiratory structures, sensory organs, excretory structures. Usually, fertilization is internal and are oviparous. Oviparous means laying eggs. They are all laying eggs. And there may be sometimes a larva, so development may be direct or sometimes indirect. Economically important insects include apis, from which we will be getting honey, wax, etc. Bombyx, we are culturing silkworm, silk culture, sericulture, from where we get natural silk. Laccifer, from where we are getting the lac, sealing wax. It is produced by a wingless insect by name Laccifer lacca. Okay, so we are all greatly benefited out of these insects. At the same time, we are having a number of vectors that cause the spreading of disease. Most notorious diseases are spread by these mosquitoes, Anopheles, Cuet, and Aedes. Then some are coming in large numbers and destroying every vegetation, greenery, causing harm, complete destruction of the plant materials. So that will be causing deficiency of food material, starvation will be the result. So gregarious pest called locust, and there is an interesting example called limulus. Limulus is a marine organism which is coming under the same group as that of spider and scorpion. Spider and scorpion are also belonging to the same group to which the limulus is. Though the name is king crab, it is neither a king nor a crab. We believe that these organisms have evolved almost 120 million years ago and had not undergone any change since then. And still they are remaining, living without any change. They have survived all these years and are showing us the character of organisms that lived at that remote time. That is why they are all very, very biologically important. They are called living fossils. We studied that bacteria is a living fossil because they show the same condition of organisms that lived during their evolution. They have not undergone any change since their evolution. All their relatives are gone. There are no immediate relatives for them. This alone is remaining without any change. Okay. The second largest phylum now we are going to again is mollusca. What is the meaning of the term mollusca? Mollusk. It is from this word mollusk. Mollusk means soft body. They are having a soft body. Mollusks are either terrestrial or aquatic, having an organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. So from here onwards, triploblastic and coelomate animals. In them, there is a shell covering their body because their body is very soft. To protect their soft body, they need a calcareous shell. And it is unsegmented. There is no segmentation in mollusca echinodermata. And covering the body, you have what is called a mantle. That's a speciality. It is this mantle that is also secreting the shell. So the body is divided into a head, a foot, which is muscular, and an area where all the internal organs, that is what is called visceral hump. Visceral hump. Soft and spongy layer of skin forms a mantle or the visceral hump, and the space between the hump and the mantle is called mantle cavity, in which you are having the feather-like gills. Gills are the organs of both respiration and excretion. They can perform both respiration and excretion. The anterior head region has a sensory. You may be having a head. This is the freshwater living pila, commonly called apple snail, which will be having a filing organ, a rasping organ for rasping the food called radula. It is a rasping organ for feeding called radula. Radula is present within the mouth of these apple snails. Okay. Now, we are having different types of organisms coming under this group, like pila, that is apple snail, pink tada. It is very, very economically important because it produces natural pearl. We get pearl from this. It is pearl oyster. Sepia, it is edible. Cuttlefish. Loligo, squid, that is also edible. Octopus, commonly called devilfish. It is having long arms by which it is growing and traveling, swimming in the sea bottom. So it is a devil-like organism. So it's called devilfish. That aplysia, It is called sea hare because it is resembling the hare, rabbit. So it's called sea hare. Dentalium, its shell is just like the shape of the shell of a elephant, so it's called tusk shell. And Chetoplura chiton. These are the examples. Now coming to phylum Echinodermata. What's the meaning of that term? Echinodermata is having a resemblance with Ctenophora because these two phyla. Now there is a third phylum also. I will come to that point. Along with Hemichordata, the members are present only in seawater. They are all exclusively marine. So who are all exclusively marine? Ctenophora, Echinodermata and Hemichordata. Why they are called Echinodermata? Echinus means hedgehog, a small animal whose body is covered with spines. Derma, skin. Animals which are having skin, just like echinus, spines. So spiny skinned animal. That is the most important diagnostic feature of this animal. They are having an endoskeleton. Inside the skin, they are having calcareous plates called ossicles. And they bear spine-like structures on their body, spiny body. That is why they are all called Echinodermata. They have organ system level of organization, but there is a speciality in them. During the larva stage, they are all free swimming and are bilaterally symmetrical. During the metamorphosis, they become sluggish or slow moving or not at all moving. And when they become slow moving or not at all moving, they change into radially symmetrical one. So the adults are pentamerous radially symmetrical, meaning the body is divided into 5 important radii along with different organs are arranged. So pentamerous, as if made up of 5 pieces. Pentamerous radially symmetrical adult. Still, they are not coming under radiata. Why? Because their larvae, the symmetry first developing in them is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry is ideal for fast swimming, free movement, whereas for sedentary, sluggish or attached animals, radial symmetry is ideal. So in larvae, you are having bilateral symmetry developing, and as it develops into adult, it becomes radially symmetrical. What is the need of that such a change? The larvae should be free swimming, then only that can be preventing or that will be helping in spreading of the species. Otherwise, all the eggs will be fertilized and will be growing to young ones that are remaining together crowded. That will be resulting in overcrowding. So overcrowding is prevented by having a free moving larvae. So larvae are all free moving. Clear? Free moving larva stage. That larva, since they are all free moving, will be having bilateral symmetry. That is why they are coming under bilateria. They are never coming under radiata. Okay. Another important feature is that they will be having what is called water vascular system. What is the meaning of that? Water is flowing inside the tubes, just like blood is flowing. In sponges, water is flowing through the spaces, cavities. But here, water is flowing through tubes. That is why it is called water vascular system. Understand the difference? In sponges, canal system is present, just like water is flowing in open tube or open canal. Water is flowing there. Here, Water is flowing through tubes, just like blood is flowing inside the blood vessels. So we call it as water vascular system that helps in locomotion, capture and transport of food and respiration. No special excretory system is present because as water is continuously flowing and moving out of the body, they will be taking away undigestible materials and other waste materials. Nitrogenous waste materials, carbon dioxide, etc. will be sent out. Sexes are separate. As I told you, reproduction is only sexual and fertilization is usually external. There is a larva stage. That larva is bilaterally symmetrical, free swimming. Examples are starfish, asterias, sea urchin, echinus, sea lily called antedon, sea cucumber, cucumberia. All of them are remaining in a sessile condition. Okay. And antedon is the only one which is attached to rock. It is sessile. Ophiura is called, why it is called Ophiura? Ophios means snake. The movement of the arms are just like the movement of the snake. That is why it is called Ophiura. They are called brittle star because the arms are easily broken. Okay, the arms will be easily broken and broken arms will be easily easily regenerated also. That is the echinodermata. In echinodermites also, there is no segmentation visible. So, mollusca and echinodermata segmentation is not present. And the next one is hemichordata, meaning half chordate. Formerly, we believed that they were all chordates. Okay. It was considered as a subphylum coming under phylum Chordata because they are found to have a structure similar to that of the notochord. Hemichordates have a rudimentary structure in the collar. This is the collar, not this one. This is the collar. You note this change. This is the collar. In this collar region, you are having a rudimentary structure, stiff rod-like structure called stomochord. Stomochord was believed to be similar to that of notochord, so we included along with chordata, but now we know that it is not similar to that of notochord because it is developed from the roof of the buccal cavity. So it's called stomo. Stoma means mouth, connected with mouth. Stomochord. This phylum consists of a small group of organisms which are all worm-like, living in burrows and the sea bottom. I told you, hemichordates are also exclusively marine. They are all bilaterally symmetrical triploblastic animals whose body is cylindrical and composed of an anterior proboscis, a collar and a trunk. Circulatory system is open type. And there are gills and these gills are helping in respiration. The excretory structure is open to the proboscis by a opening. So it's called proboscis glands. Excretory structures are proboscis glands. There is a larva stage during development. Remember, all of them are marine and tuberculous, living in tubes, U-shaped tubes at the sea bottom, in shallow seas, intertidal areas. Balanoglossus, Saccoglossus are the common examples. Now coming to the last one, which is the most advanced, called chordata. A chordate should have three important characters. Then only we can put them along with chordata. What are they? One, they should have a notochord. Without saying, that is the number one criteria. What is a notochord? A stiff rod-like structure developing from mesoderm lying above the alimentary canal. That is called the notochord. Second one, the pharynx should have paired gill openings. Paired pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, so that is number two. And number three, the nerve tube The nervous system consists of a tube which is called nerve cord. This nerve cord is still above, still dorsal to the notochord. It is hollow, tubular and unganglionated. Okay. So, a dorsal tubular nerve cord. So, number one feature, I will mark it. One is notochord. Two, gill slits paired, pharyngeal gill slits. There are present in the pharynx. Mouth will be taking water and gills are sending out water. And nerve cord is dorsal. These are the three character features. And among these chordates, some of them are having notochord only throughout their life. They are called protochordata. There are two subphyla coming under this one, namely cephalochordata and urochordata. These two together are called protochordata. What is a protochordate? Where notochord is alone present. They are not vertebrates because there is no vertebral column in them. The third and the last phylum, which is the best developed, are chordates. Among the chordates are vertebrates. So, this phylum is divided into three subphyla: cephalochordata, urochordata, and vertebrata. Of these, cephalochordata and urochordata are together called protochordata. Why they are called cephalochordates? Because right from the head to the tail, notochord is extending. Notochord is extending from head to tail and is persistent throughout the life. That's why they are called cephalochordata. Classical example is branchiostoma or amphioxis or Ncert. So that is the classical example. Second one is urochordata. Why they are called so? Because uro, tail. Notochord is present only in the tail region, in the posterior part. It is not extending to the head. In cephalochordata, cephalo, head. From head to the last part of the body, notochord is extending. Whereas here, notochord is present only in the posterior part. Okay. Notochord present in the posterior part. That is what is called uro. Uro means posterior part. Example, acidia, salpa, doliolum. They are also called tunicates. Urochordates are also called tunicates because their body will be having a outer tunic-like covering. That's why it is called tunicates. Now, in the third subphylum, that is vertebrata, notochord is present only during the early stages of development. Later on, it is replaced by a well-developed vertebral column. So they are called vertebrates. Thus, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates because you are having cephalochordata and urochordata. There are chordates, but not vertebrates. Clear? In vertebrates, always we are having some additional characters, namely chambered heart. They are having chambered heart. Also, they will be having closed type of blood vascular system. And kidneys are the organs of excretion and osmoregulation. So, these are the features of chordates. These chordates are classified into two, namely A natha. A means absent. Jaws are absent in them. Jaws absent. So when jaws are absent, the mouth will be in the form of a ring. So they are called cyclostomata. Only this class cyclostomata is coming under Anatha. They are the primitive vertebrates. Whereas advanced vertebrates are having a jaw supporting the mouth or surrounding the mouth. You are having jaw. That's why it is called gnathostomata. Gnatha means jaw. Okay, gnathostomata. This gnathostomata is again divided. We will come to that point. So, coming to the Anatha. all of them are marine. Okay, they have large number of gill slits, 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits, but they are not fishes. Fishes are having jaws, they are having scales and paired fins. In Anatha, there are no jaws, there are no scales on the skin, and no paired fins. They are all marine, and their endoskeleton is comprised of cartilaginous endoskeleton that forms the vertebral column as well as the skull box, cranium. Circulation is closed type in all vertebrates, closed type of blood vascular system. They are all marine, but come to freshwater for spawning, for mating and egg laying. Okay, and immediately after egg laying, they will die. The larvae will return to the ocean after metamorphosis. So, they will be metamorphosing in freshwater, and then only they will return to ocean. Example is petromyzon. It is commonly called lamprey. Okay, it is an ectoparasite on fishes, whereas myxine is a smaller one which is called hagfish. The only peculiarity of this myxine to tell you is that it is the only vertebrate who is an osmoconformer, who cannot maintain a constant and steady water level in the body. Now, come to the gnatostomata. They are having jaws, they are jawed vertebrates, and in them you will be having a vertebral column which is made up of either cartilages or bones. It is divided into two superclasses. Superclass fishes contain all fishes. Fishes are fishes. They are divided into two classes. Simply we can call it as cartilage fishes and bony fishes. Chondrichthyes or cartilage fishes are marine, where endoskeleton is made up of cartilage. In them, notochord is remaining. Throughout their life, there is a remnant of notochord within the vertebra, and they are without operculum. There will be 5 pairs of gills that are open directly, and these gills can be seen outside. There is no covering. That covering for the gill is called operculum. Operculum is absent. The scales are very minute and microscopic, called placard scales. It is the modified placard scales that are all converted into the teeth. They are very sharp and they are all having powerful jaws. So, they will be always feeding on their prey. Animals are predaceous, meaning they are always hunting for their prey and feed on their prey. And they have to swim continuously, because when they stop swimming, they will sink. There is no bladder to help them float in water. Heart is two-chambered. In all fishes, heart is two-chambered. In an electric fish called torpedo or nasin, there is a pair of electric organs which will be producing electric current. They are all modified muscles of the head. And in trigon, commonly called as the stingray. This is called electric ray. This is called stingray. Trigon is called stingray because they will be stinging. They will be having a poison gland open to the sting, which is capable of even killing man. All fishes are cold-blooded. They have no ability to maintain a constant temperature. Examples are scoliodon or shark, commonly called dogfish. Pristis. Pristis is having a peculiarity. What is the peculiarity? Their mouth will be wide and the two jaws are protruded in the form of a elongated structure, on either side of which you will be having teeth arranged. So teeth are outside the mouth and it is looking like the saw, the structure similar to the cutting of wood saw. That's why it is called saw fish, used for tearing the logs. Okay, so saw fish. Carcharodon is human enemy, or actually it is eating on man-eater, great white shark, and trigon is the the poisonous stingrays, trigon. Electric organs are present in torpedo called electric ray. That torpedo is commonly called electric ray. Now coming to the osteichthyes, osteo means bone. So their endoskeleton is made up of bones. Mouth is terminal. In cartilage fishes, mouth was ventral. And in the tail, both lobes of the fins are same here in osteichthyes. Whereas in cartilage fishes, the lobes are different. Upper lobe is larger than the lower. This is called heterocercal. This is called heterocercal. Caudal fin is heterocercal. See, mouth is here. Okay. Whereas in bony fishes, mouth is at the tip. And the two lobes are identical. So we call it as homocercal caudal fin. See, gills are not seen visible externally because they are covered by a operculum. There is an air bladder in them. Because of the presence of air bladder, even if they stop swimming, they will not swim, they will not sink to the bottom. The body is covered with large scales. Okay, large scales, which are all belonging to cycloid or ctenoid type. All fishes are having two-chambered heart and sexes are separate. Fertilization is usually here external, whereas in cartilage fishes, internal fertilization, and they give rise to babies. They give birth to young ones. It is viviparous, but here they are all oviparous. Okay, examples are the flying fish Exocetus, hippocampus, commonly called seahorse because of the resemblance of the head to the head of a horse. And freshwater fishes like labio, catla, clarias, they are all cultured, pisciculture. Aquarium fishes like betta is called fighting fish, and pterophyllum or angelfish are coming under this osteichthyes. We are having large number of more than 25,000 species coming under osteichthyes. Okay. Then comes the amphibians. Why they are called amphibians? Because they are capable of living in both water and land. Here, there is no fins but limbs. Limbs appear. Two pairs of limbs are present for them. You are having a head and a trunk. And ear start appearing, tympanum. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive structures are opening by a common chamber called cloaca. They have respiration both with the help of skin and with the help of lungs. That is why they are amphibious, living in both freshwater, in water as well as in land. That is why they are called amphibians. They are all oviparous and development is indirect. The common frog, rana, toad, bufo, tree frog, hyla, salamandra, salamanders. Salamanders are tailed amphibians. Ichthyophis having no limbs. They are called limbless amphibians, are all belonging to this group. And coming to the first land animal, they are called reptiles. Why they are called so? Because of their rupturing nature, crawling nature. When they are all walking on land, some part of the trunk or tail will always touch. That is why it is called reptiles. They are the first terrestrial, true terrestrial, who will never live in water. Even if they are living in water, they will never have gills for breathing. They always breathe with the help of lungs. Okay, skin is having no glands. It is dry and covered with hard, horny, epidermal scales or scutes. Tympanum is represented here. Limbs are of two types. Now, in amphibians, heart is three chambered, two atria and one ventricle. Here also, you are having three chambered, but a fourth chamber is present in crocodile. Atria and ventricle, both are divided in crocodile. So, they are having four chambers. But in all other reptiles, you are having only three chambers, two atria and one ventricle. Okay. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They never depend on water. That is why they are called typical first land animal. There are oviparous, development is direct. Examples include chelone, that is marine turtle, testudo, freshwater and land tortoises, tree lizard, chameleon, calotes, crocodiles, alligator, our wall lizard, gecko, hemidactylus, and some poisonous snakes are mentioned here. Naja, all snakes are coming under the reptiles. Naja is cobra, whose poison is affecting our nervous system. Bengarus also having poison which is affecting our nervous system. They are all neurotoxic. Whereas viper, they are all viviparous. That is why they are called vipers, and they are all having hemotoxic venom, venom affecting our blood. Coming to the class aves, they include birds. They are characterized by wings, and wings are having feathers, and they are also characterized by the presence of beak. They are all masters of the air. They are simply glorified reptiles, but they have a number of unique features by which they can fly in air. That's why they are all the masters of the air. The lungs are having air cavities. There are 9 air cavities. Actually, they are storing oxygen. These 9 air chambers will be helping in floating. Then digestive system is having 2 additional structures called crop and gizzard. Heart is completely 4-chambered. Remember, birds and mammals alone are warm-blooded. They are having internal fertilization and development is direct. The air sacs, a total of 9 air sacs are present that will be having some additional qualities that will be helping in floating in air and also having double breathing. They are all oviparous and development is direct. Crow, corvus, pigeon, columba, Citicula crameri, Struthio camellus, that is the Arabian ostrich, Pavo, that is our national bird, Eptinoditas, marine, aquatic, penguin, and vulture. Vultures are the nature's scavengers, neophron. And coming to the last one, mammals, the best developed, most advanced, which can live anywhere. Why they are called mammals? Because of the production of milk. They are having mammary glands. Only group which is having mammary gland, which is modified skin gland, that milk is used for feeding the young ones. They are all having two pairs of limbs. And the skin is having hair. No other group is having this hair. External ear has a fold called pinna. Okay, and in the middle ear, you are having a chain of 3 bones called ear ossicles. Teeth are of different types. That's why it's called heterodon. Heterodon. Heart is 4-chambered, and you are having, just like birds, completely separated circulation. So, complete double circulation is seen in them. They respire only by lungs. Even if the animal is in water, say for example whales, dolphins, they are all breathing with the help of lungs only. Usually, they are all viviparous, giving birth to young ones. And some of them will be having some exception. We are having some egg-laying ones also. For example, we are having ornithorhynchus, which is egg-laying, reptile-like. Others are, say for example, macropus, kangaroo, pouthed mammals, marsupialia. There are actually 3 subclasses coming under the class mammals. One is the prototheria, primitive mammals, in which the echidna, platypus, etc. are coming. Second one is the macropus, kangaroo, marsupialia, metatheria, and all others are eutheria, true placental mammals. Rattles, canis, felis, elephants, there are more than 20 orders coming under this class mammals. They are the most advanced among the vertebrates and among the entire animal kingdom. So with that, we come to the conclusion of the discussion of this chapter, and we will be meeting with yet another chapter next time. Until then, take care and goodbye. Thank you all. Thank you very much.